Hi guys, welcome to Legal Bubble. In today's video, we will be discussing decriminalization of Section 138 of Negotiable Instruments Act 1881 and see how justified is this decision of the Indian government and what alternative remedies are available. So on 8th June 2020, the Ministry of Finance invited comments on a proposal to decriminalize 39 minor offences. Among the most significant changes suggested is the proposal to decriminalize dishonor of checks under the Negotiable Instruments Act 1881. So, the intention of modification has been applauded by experts due to excessive backlog of check bouncing cases that are pending at various levels of judiciary. However, this proposal is not without loopholes and it poses significant challenges to bona fide check holders, especially those with large amounts of money. So, in this video, we will attempt to understand the existing framework of dishonor of checks under the Negotiable Instruments Act, analyze the nature of remedies in other jurisdictions, examine the theory of alternate dispute resolution methods for smaller amounts in check bouncing cases, and also explore recommendations which can be taken as alternative. Before discussing the decriminalization of dishonor of check, it is important to understand the concept of dishonor of check. This concept has been dealt with in section 138 of NI Act. Let's take a look. So, what will constitute as dishonor of check? It means that when a person draws a check to pay another for discharging of debt or some other liability, and that check is returned by the bank either because of insufficiency of funds in account to honor the check or because it exceeds the amount agreed to be paid from that account. Now that we have understood the concept of dishonor of check, let's see how section 138 comes into play by looking at essentials for application of section 138. So firstly, check has been presented to bank within 3 months from the date on which it is drawn or within the period of its validity, whichever is earlier. Secondly, a notice demanding payment is to be given to drawer of check within 30 days of receipt of information from bank about the return of check unpaid. And thirdly, if the drawer fails to pay within 15 days upon receipt of such notice. So when all these conditions are fulfilled, it is then that an offense of dishonor of check is committed in terms of section 138. Now that we have understood when can an action be taken under section 138, now we'll take a look at brief background of criminalization of dishonor of check. So initially, in the event of dishonor of check, the aggrieved party had to separately institute two suits, one for getting civil remedies and another for prosecution of offender for criminal offence, which was done under section 420 read with section 415 of IPC. But it was realized that it caused a lot of trouble and duplicacy of efforts. So, a need was felt for criminalization of Section 138, and this was done by Amendment Act of 1988. So, at present, Section 138 provides for punishment of imprisonment for a term which may extend up to 2 years or with fine which may extend up to twice the amount of check or with both. Now let's look at the relevant Law Commission report and judicial responses in this regard. So, according to the 213th Law Commission of India report, around 40 lakh cases or 20% of the cases pending in courts were that of dishonor of checks. Therefore, over the years, the Supreme Court has made a conscious effort to prevent the misuse of Section 138. In case of Damodar S. Prabhu versus Sayyid Babalal, the court held that the compensatory aspect of the remedy should be given priority over the punitive aspect and stated that the litigants should choose the method of compromise to resolve their dispute instead of going for litigation. Further, in cases such as Kaushalya Devi versus Roop Kishore, the court held that the offence under Section 138 is a civil wrong which has been given criminal overtones. Therefore, the court was of the opinion that the gravity of a civil wrong cannot and should not be equated with a criminal offence. In Makwana versus State of Gujarat, the court recommended to decriminalize the dishonor of small value checks. In the light of various recommendations as given by the relevant Law Commission report and the judiciary, it is now significant to look at the international legal framework for dishonor of checks and understand the nature of penalties that are imposed in other countries. So, the penalties for dishonor of checks around the world can be classified basically into three types, that is, civil, criminal, and administrative penalties. Now, contrary to popular opinion, many countries have retained criminal penalties along with civil penalties for check bouncing for higher amounts, repeat offences, and fraudulent intent. The existence of parallel remedies is best exemplified by the dishonor of check laws in different states in the United States. So, civil liabilities are imposed in countries like Singapore, UK, and Australia. Criminal liabilities are imposed in the USA. Lastly, there is another category of punishments known as administrative penalties, which are imposed as a deterrent to future offenders. These may include measures such as freezing of accounts or an embargo on check transactions for a period of time. Countries like Turkey and Japan have recently decriminalized its check laws, and banks are empowered to suspend the account for 2 years if the account owner defaults in two checks in a period of 6 months, respectively, for reasons similar to those raised in India. It has also empowered the prosecutor to impose a prohibition on opening of any check account or issuing new checks for offenders. However, in the light of COVID 19, the Bank Association has suspended this penalty for a certain period of time. Hence, it can be said that decriminalization in its current form seems like a half baked move which does not account for long term consequences for check holders. It deprives bona fide check holders of an opportunity to initiate criminal prosecution against fraudulent high value checks. Therefore, it would be ideal to amend the code, that is the Indian Penal Code, to include a section on theft by insufficient funds similar to that of US, in order to account for high value fraudulent offenses. Also, a definite guideline needs to be provided in the Act chalking out the exact civil remedy available to a check holder and demarcating the damages that they would be entitled for. The legislature could also recommend inserting certain administrative penalties, such as an embargo on issue of checks for a limited period of time. And lastly, as suggested by the Delhi High Court in Dayavati versus Yogesh Kumar, in cases of dishonor of check, arbitration, mediation, and conciliation can be used to ease the backlog of cases. So, I hope through this video you will be able to understand the present move of decriminalization of Section 138 by the Indian government and its various implications. For more such videos, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.